what you asked for. Heavy is the crowd, fire in the sunrise, ashes raining down. Try to hold it in, but it keeps bleeding out. This is what you asked for.
Hello everyone and welcome to a new League tutorial. In this video I'm going to show you one of the best jungle champions in this season split in my opinion, and how to play him in the easiest way to climb high elo. Khazix is one of the older champions introduced into League and still one of the most played, so we thought many of you would like to see a guide for him. Khazix has high DPS and mobility map pressure due to his evolution on Q, W and E, making it very easy to kill an isolated champion, and also very fun to play and never get bored. But let's see exactly what we're talking about and start with skill order and what skills you max based on the level in the game. As skill order at level 1 put in Q for more damage on minion fields and easier clear, and at level 2 enter W for even more damage and sustain because you get enough healed that you don't need help or potions. Generally you should level 2 after the first camp and level 3 after 3 jungle minion camps. At level 3 you enter E for better mobility, and after that the order is Q, followed by W and E. In ultimate you enter at level 6, 11 and 16. Now a lot of people are wondering which skill to evolve first and what is their order. The correct answer to this question depends on your playstyle, but in this video, I'm going to explain my playstyle that helped me reach a 79% win rate from 49 games. I always evolve Q first, then, depending on the game, W or E. By evolving Q to level 6 you get a much faster clear, a much higher damage burst on isolated enemies, the enemy jungler is impossible to deal with if you run into each other, more gank potential, and an ease of doing objectives like Drake or Krugs in early game. Depending on how the game goes and what champions the enemies have, at level 11, I always evolve W or E. I evolve W when I'm not high enough and don't have enough damage to evolve E, as it gives you 3-way range and you can hit more targets, a higher slow and target vision. If the match has gone a lot in my favor and I feel I have enough damage, then I go for E evolution for more gank mobility and escape after gank. At level 16 I evolve E or W, and rarely when the enemy frontline doesn't allow me to reach ADC or easier targets, I evolve R and drop E. Your ultimate not only will it provide you with a great escape or easy kills, but it also allows you to reset your passive, or an equally important thing that many people don't mention, namely cancelling the opponent's skills, mainly talking about ultimates. If you tame everything properly, you are able to cancel our cast of characters like Mordekaiser, Brand, Darius and others. The ultimate is useful enough without evolution, but like I said, if you need those extra moments of invisibility and another stack, then evolving on R might be useful for you. Now that I've cleared it up with the abilities, let me explain how the runes work. I always use domination with inspiration, but if you don't want to play magical footwear and cosmic insight, another perfect option would be sorcery with absolute focus and gathering storm. Domination runes I build from Dark Harvest, Sudden Impact, Eyeball Collection and Relentless Hunter, and as summoner spells I always use Flash and Blue Smite. My explanation for this combo is simple and boils down to mobility and control, combined with a burst of damage. Thanks to Relentless Hunter you get movement speed out of combat, and combined with the movement speed from Blue Smite, you will be like a little blue Kayn on the map. So the maximum is 45 movement speed from rune and 30% or 45% from Blue Smite, having a total of 75 to 85% movement speed out of combat and when going through bushes. Also all the other runes help with the damage burst, and that's exactly what Khazix needs, as his goal is to annihilate easy kill targets. The runes I specified work perfectly with the following build: Ghostblade, Opportunity, Edge of Night, Serilda, and the last item generally goes on Guardian Angel, but it can easily be replaced with Serpent's Fang if the enemy team has many support champions, with Malmortius if you need AP defense or another damage item for more fun. There are other builds you can do on Khazix depending on your playstyle, but I recommend the one I mentioned. Also, like a Khazix main, you have to accept that you can't always win, that's why I wouldn't pick him in champions like Sejuani, Jarvan, Lee, Kayn or others like them. It is very strong against weaker early game champions like Viego, Briar, Brand, Karthus and others like them. Another criterion by which I choose Khazix is the composition of their team. I never pick him in tanking champions or supports like Lulu, Yuumi or Milio, because the game becomes much harder. Let's move on to the early game phase. An early game is an awkward stage for Khazix. Just as in his lore, you want to survive the early game and get into the mid game where Khazix is very strong. This champ has poor gank set up by himself, so you want to path towards a lane that has some CC to help you secure a kill. Full clearing will be your go-to choice almost in every game, since you want to hit your huge level 6 power spike when you can start fighting. You need to be extra careful to not be set behind in this stage, since assassins can be nearly useless if behind. I usually go for invades only after I've secured a lead. If the enemy jungler tries to come at you, you have an advantage and can easily kill him. My rotation for early game is to start with the red buff followed by golems and raptors. If an opportunity for a kill comes up while I'm doing these camps, I go for it. Keeping the lead on Khazix is essential in ranked games. I always try to gank mid, in my opinion it's the easiest lane to gank. For example, you clear at the top and try to gank top, and if not, gank mid. After that you continue on the bottom and try to gank bot or gank mid again. Most likely he will run out of flash because he loses it on the first gank and after recall. Mid game is when Khazix shines the most. You have your items and your evolutions, and you are very strong and can duel almost any champion in the game. You should be constantly looking for picks in this stage so you can have advantage in fights and objectives. You should also try to control the vision around enemy territory, since it can help you catch more people unaware, snowball and end the game fast. Thanks to the movement speed on the smite and the runes, you move very quickly on the map, and you can reach a counter gank, an objective or even an invade in the enemy jungle in time. All you need is a little map vision to know your next move. This is the phase of the game where the pressure on you and your contribution to the team must be felt the most, because in the late game is pretty scary for Khazix. This champ luckily has some tricks in his kit and doesn't scale horribly. However, the nature of the late game makes the game a lot harder for him. Since he is so reliant on his isolation bonus to actually do any damage, late game when most of the times enemies are grouped together makes it very challenging to get any picks. CC is also a big danger. Unfortunately, you can't do much about this yourself since at this point you rely on the enemy to make a mistake. What you can do though is position yourself so that you can take advantage of that mistake. Staying in bushes, flanking, playing around fog of war can help you get that one kill that will win you the game. In case a fight breaks out, you need to be patient. Wait for your team to split the enemy team up and then go in. Your job is to try as hard as you can to turn it into a 4 against 5 before a fight even starts.